leave everything on a fucking cliffhanger. I know, right? I think what always scares me about the denial and what always pulls me away from us is the fear that if I really look at you, if I really come back into us, I'm gonna find nothing there. And to an extent, it does the same thing with me. It's not just denial with you and your existence. It's like self-confidence and self-image for me as well. It's the same thing, really. It's like I am afraid that if I really spend time trying to get to know us and trying to see us and trying to look at us, I'm going to find that we're empty and that there's nothing there to see. And feeling that fear, like half-arsing it, is really scary because, like, if I feel that fear and it freezes me up and I still try and get to know us and focus on us, then I can get I get kind of dissociated and closed down, so I am disconnected from what's in there, and then I do see nothing, and that can scare me so much that I look away for a long time. But I think what was most amazing to me about that entire event was that every time every time I glanced at the mirror and every time I spoke to you and just close my eyes and take a fucking leap of faith, I'd feel my heart fucking racing and I would be so scared. And somehow I would manage to let go and let things be how they were without certainty of what I was going to see and without trying to control what was there. And something about the way I was able to do that and let go of what anyone else was thinking or what we had to look like meant that I didn't dissociate and close us down whenever I looked into us or felt in us or looked at us or came back to being with us. So we were still there and visible. And I think what was the most amazing thing about all of that was that every time I reached for you, you were there, solidly, undeniably, spontaneously, surprisingly, completely there. You could say and do things and make jokes that I didn't expect, like you can in other moments, and I realize now that you can always do those things. You're always there like that. It's just whether or not I get so scared of what I might not see that I shut down to it, or I shut you down, or I create distance between us, or I dissociate so that one or both of us ends up not being there or not being free to completely be themselves and close down because of it. And that makes it look like we're not there. And the confirmation bias makes me terrified, and I read that as us not existing, or like I'm empty as a person or you don't exist, whichever way it presents between both of us. I can just see so clearly now. If I can relax and just let us be, you're very clearly there, and so am I. And I very clearly am not hollow or empty. I do have a self-image. I do exist as a person. I do actually have a sense of humour and things worth contributing, and I'm fun to be around. And you are fluid and spontaneous and nothing like I would anticipate in a lot of ways, and completely comfortingly familiar as someone I've known all my life. And it felt like there were moments where I went to engage with you and I was so scared that if I leant into you, you'd disappear like smoke. And that's happened a lot before, the feeling of it at least. But I felt like felt like I leant back into you, or I'd reach for connection with you in some way or another, like speaking out loud, or how we dance. If I'd move in a way expecting you to reply, I guess. Or the same with making facial expressions or singing lyrics into the mirror. Anything I did that was like a bid for connection, it was so fucking terrifying to make that bid, and a heart in my throat, feeling like you were going to evaporate if I really tried, and I'd see you weren't really there if I really tried to lean up against you or engage with you or really look at you. And what was so incredible and magical about all of that event was you you didn't you didn't evaporate, you didn't disappear. You, I didn't pull away, and I didn't aggressively push you away. Arguably every single fucking time in our lives, if you tried to engage with me, to lean on me, if you aimed for any sort of a bid for connection with me in any serious sense, I would either get pissed off because I thought you were testing to see if I was real because you believed I wasn't. I didn't understand how denial worked, or that it wasn't your fault. Or I'd see that you really meant it, and that you were just trying to get closer to me. And that would terrify me, and I'd pull away. It's not like you looking at me caused me to not be there. I ran. Or I'd fight. I'd get aggressive. And some of the things I'd respond with would be triggering enough to create a lot of distance between us. So, the difference, if you're wondering, the difference between every time in the past and at the concert was, at the concert I didn't run or pull back when you leant into me. I didn't back away like the worst sort of trust fall exercise. I just stayed sort of standing my ground as grounded to the body, replied. Instead of disconnecting and choosing protection, I think I was choosing vulnerability and connection, which, I'll believe you me, is so much worse within this system than it could be outside, or at least as bad, fucking hell. Yeah, every single time, every single fucking second of that was terrifying. I definitely felt like I was missing a hell of a lot of armor and weapons and shields. It felt very much like being on some sort of tall pinnacle building with guns aimed around me and no harness. And I'm absolutely not regretting in any way, shape or form that I responded that way. It's almost like I didn't know whether to believe that you actually... I don't fucking know. So much of me just seemed to think it was still. Like I'd take offence at seeming like I wasn't real to you.
and I didn't trust that any time you were trying to reach out for connection wasn't just a test, wasn't just for show, wasn't just something hollow. And I realize now that was defensive, because I'm absolutely fucking phobic of intimacy and connection with anyone. And it was easier to think that it was meaningless to you than to think that you could have actually been really trying to connect with me because it was really real. And usually, yeah, I'd either accidentally do something that made you think the denial was right, or get so triggered that we got disconnected, or I would deliberately do so and weaponize it so that you'd back down. And I had absolutely no intention of doing that then, or any time since, or any time in our fucking future ever again, to be honest. Yeah, that was terrifyingly real. And you felt just as solid and just as existent and just as alive, movement independent to my own, uncontrollably so, like another person that I have absolutely no way to control or predict or stop from abandoning me. I see why. So yeah, that was completely worth it, and just as real to me. Maybe just as shocking, even if presenting differently. Except that feeling like I'm stood on a fucking building spire. There's an open rib cage and no harness. That hasn't really gone. That's I feel like I'd need to pull away and retreat for that to change, and I don't really want to.
I'm not... Where am I gonna go?
You're still capable of abandoning or rejecting me from within the same brain, you know.
No, God no. I wouldn't ever.
No, I can see that. You've spent an awful lot of time proving that. Still, trauma isn't particularly logical, so it still feels like that is maybe not definite for once, actually. Just a strong possibility. I feel like I'm waiting with bated breath for the gunshot to ring out.
How is this not worse? Like...
Oh God. Nothing is worse than that. This, anywhere, anyone, showcasing it, because it might be relevant to other people. It might actually be what's keeping hosts and persecutors from engaging in a lot of instances, and fuck knows it nearly killed us, so I'm happy for it to be visible for many reasons. But the thing is, it being visible to other people is nothing compared to just acknowledging it ourselves, that it don't get worse. This don't make it worse. It's it being there, doing it, that remains the difficult element. Speaking about it, even publicly, means fucking nothing comparatively.
are we naturally like, I guess, I wonder if we're more prioritized to you. Like, if our response to us means more than other people's, like if it's inverted for you, or for me, I guess. Fuck no, thank you. So much. For not backing away. I didn't realize that was like, I didn't realize that was you closing down. I just thought it was like, yeah, I thought I was doing that. Like, I thought if I got scared of you disappearing, I would make that happen. I didn't realize. That was, without doubt, the best part of the entire day. Indistinguishable, frankly, from like, or like, I mean, being there at a concert, obviously the concert would be the highlight, but it kind of was and it wasn't, you know, like, I had moments of just as much meaningful importance and impact on the train. It was definitely more about being connected to myself and to you that was the important part of that day. I really appreciate you. I mean, I really appreciate you. That must have been fucking terrifying if it was scary for me.
Past tense.
You like...
I have not relaxed an inch since then. I've been fucking terrified. Haven't you?
Maybe a little bit of like... There were some moments that were so perfect because, yeah, I think what was happening was we were both really present and both really whole, and I've been scared because that seemed too perfect, that it's like, what if we never achieve that again? What if I can never ground that well or relax that much? Yeah, okay, a little. And also I've felt really content and complete and whole and very relaxed because I feel like we're on the right track here, and I feel like if we keep doing what we're doing, we'll have more and more moments like that. And can you imagine a life where that is just how things are, how we engage, how we feel all the time? I was so scared that if we got closer and got to know each other better, I'd come to find out we were the same person, or we'd come to feel like it, and it's like I'd be in control of what you behaved like. Exactly, see? Like, and how much can you control me?
Yeah, no. Not for a lack of trying.
The closer we get, that's the thing. I'm kind of more excited and certain than I am scared, because every time, I think I see it now, every time we get close, the closer we get, the more I see how you are an individual person. The more I get to know you, and I'm surprised by the nuance and the individuality that encompasses you. And the more surprised I am at like things like the fact that we have such different core beliefs, and your sense of humor is very complementary to mine, but different. And the closer we get, the more I experience you as your own person. And I thought it would be the opposite of that. So it's like the closer we get, the more I completely see and feel your existence. And I used to be scared that that would mean we were getting closer to fusing. But I still feel like there's a great distinction between me and you, no matter how close and intertwined with thoughts and feelings being able to be passed back and forth that is, there's still a really distinct separation between what's coming from who and where, and it's just that we can engage with the brain and the body together more fluidly, and I fucking love that. Yeah, no, the closer we get, the more I see that you are real, and just how real. And that's as terrifying as it is fucking amazing, and I would not change that. It's worth the terror. Yeah, a little bit scared, but like more excited and more certain. Like I know this is right now, and that I, even in moments where I'm afraid, I know I don't have anything to be afraid of, because there is a tangible undeniability of everything I experienced the other day that we've had fleeting moments of before, but that was by far the most substantial amount and intensity that we've had that for.
That was the longest amount of time, and the most frequent that we've both tried to stay grounded to the body, in the emotions, engaging with each other, without either of us running away, or me.
I think I used to find ways to run away. I think that's a fair statement.
How much time we've spent terrified of each other in one way or another, and of getting to know each other, and everything we've ever been afraid of has been lies. You're nothing like I was afraid you were.